All we can say is thank you very much. Thank you for your
Good,
efforts. Thank you for
good.
all you do. You have done for, I don't want to say over 60 years for the community, but I think I'm right when I say 60 years plus. You can correct me.
Yeah.
Sean, what we want to hear from you is what does it take to put a concert such as the one we enjoyed last night, to put a concert such as this together?
To have a purpose. That's the whole thing. You have to realize that, this is for a religious purpose in a way. There would be religious heads, the Sirpazan and the Patriarch and all that. So you have to think in those terms. That's why, for example, I started the program with Sharagans, because I didn't want to have any kind of a conversation before we started the concert. I wanted to start the concert with musical arotk,
Mhm.
as we call it. Um, Actually, right before the concert started, I went upstairs where Sirpazan and the Patriarch were there, and I said, "How do you want to start the concert?" And Sirpazan said, "Autkov." And I persuaded him that it was unnecessary to disturb the. It's not disturbing. Um, I think the you see singing, liturgical chants have been part of our liturgy from get-go, from the 5th century. So singing charagans or liturgical chants in this case was ahot enough. Otherwise, you were repeating yourself. So you see, that gave me a direction. I also wanted to introduce some new names which are not in the Armenian public. For example, Joao, the Brazilian Armenian guitarist. His father is Armenian, the mother is Brazilian. He has never been in Armenian circles.
Mhm.
And a couple of years ago, he got in touch with me, asked me about some Armenian stuff because he was interested in his Armenian roots and wanted to make transcriptions of some Armenian folk songs into guitar and make a recording. So we got to know each other. I had never met him. Yesterday was the first time
Mhm.
I was meeting him. But, over the telephone, through email, and this and that, we discussed the whole thing. And then, for example, the other thing whom I knew about, Sammy Mardinian and the quartet,
Mhm.
that was also new completely for ours. I think they were the high point in a way of the concert yesterday because they played so wonderfully, and the arrangements that this man Sergei Aslamazian had made. He's from Moscow, and he had co-founded an Armenian quartet, Gomidas Quartet, it was called, in 1925. Gnasyerevagal,
Mhm.
25.
Mhm.
It is the 100th anniversary
Mhm.
this year. It is the longest surviving quartet in the world. How many people know this? Nobody.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's our fault. That's our fault, for sure. But anyway, I think as I was writing a note to Sami this morning, I said, had Aslamazian heard the way you played his arrangement, he would have been so happy. I was, of course, he was the first violin and, he had the main melodies, but all the other ones also took part in the melodic material. And, he had trained them in such a way that they played in a very correct, wonderful, correct is not the right word. There is no such thing as correct in music, in a wonderful, convincing way. And that was another high point for me. The other high point was Narek Harutyunyan.
Bravo.
We have heard Narek before, but one piece that I found was Alan Hovhannes's Laments. And I didn't know anything about this piece. I was going through his catalog because I just didn't want to have all Hayastansis. I wanted somebody from Spirk
Absolutely.
diaspora. So I wanted Alan Hovhannes to be represented. So I was going through his catalog, and there were a lot of clarinet pieces. But when I saw Laments, that was written in 1935, it attracted my attention. I'll tell you why. Because the rumor, it is a rumor, I think, that in 1942, when Alan was introduced to Armenian music, he became the organist of an Armenian church in Boston. Then he threw away all the stuff that he had written before and started anew. That is Barab Khos. Orovedev, this lament is written in 1935, and he didn't throw it out. We have it, it's printed. And interestingly, Vartan, this is the second time that an Armenian composer is writing for the clarinet. The first one is Aram Khachadurian, who has written the most famous clarinet trio. I say most famous, I do mean it. It's the best known clarinet trio in the world, probably. It's for clarinet, piano, and violin. It's an incredible piece. And 3 years after that, in 1935, Alan Hovhannes is writing this extraordinary piece for solo clarinet. And Narek played it extraordinarily, all by himself. He held the attention of the audience. He's an extraordinary performer. And then, right now I'm into Armenian women composers, and I am interested in the work of Gevoni Chichian, and I was talking to her. I was in Armenia about a month ago, and I said, this is what we are going to do, and there is this wonderful clarinetist. Do you have anything that he can perform? A short work. And he said, I have a piece for trumpet and piano, and some people play this on the clarinet, and I've heard it, and it sounds very convincing for the clarinet. And she said, I will give you the music. You judge, you make your decision, and do whatever you want. She is 96 years old, So I took the music, I came, and I gave it to Narek, and I said, try it out and see whether it works for you on the clarinet. And he tried it. He said, this is one of the best clarinet pieces I've ever played. It is, Hovhannes's understanding of the qualities of the clarinet sound is so phenomenal at that time. So And of course, Narek is capable to producing the kind of atmosphere that Hovannes wanted. Uh, the whole thing is in the what in the clarinet language they call chalumeau, which is the low register. It is always there. And it was vohpercussioner karzeste, iskabes vohpercussioner asiga. And then we did the Khachaturian nocturne from his Masquerade Suite. The first woman, Alberto Mailian, she is known for her ability to sing liturgical chants. And Chris Kalfayan helped me there. I didn't know her at all. She was introduced to me through Chris, and she selected those three. They are not Sharagan. They are the two of them are Dach. One is called Havun Havun, which has to do with Zadig, with Easter, and then two Changizaribes, and no, it's yeah, and no, it's not Changizaribes, it's something else, and Mariev Gus, and those have to do with the Assumption, Asfadazim. And some people suggested that we should have a cello or something like that to sustain a note and for her to sing. I said, in the 5th century, 10th century, we had cellos in the church. Come on, don't be silly. No, if she's good and if she sings solo, it will be the most fantastic, it will create the most fantastic effect. And it did. I said no to the solo. I said no to a group of people. No, no, no. Let her sing alone. She did, and she was wonderful. And she had to go to London right afterward.
People were looking for her. Yeah.
Yes, yes. She left for JFK because she was doing, is it Berj Turabian? I think so. Who does Aznavur-like song?
Yes.
Yes. So they were together going to do a number of performances in London, and she had a midnight flight to London. I'm assuming she is in London already.